Imagine this. You're walking down the charming streets of London, the rain gently falling, the smell of fish and chips in the air, and suddenly, you spot a group of Americans asking where the McDonald's with Wi-Fi is, while complaining that the tea isn't sweet enough. Yep, we're talking about the dumbest things Americans do on a UK vacation. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe, like my video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next update. Today, we're diving into the hilarious, awkward, and sometimes downright shocking mistakes Americans make when they visit the UK. And trust me, it's funnier than a double-decker bus stuck in traffic. First up, the eternal question, where's the bathroom? Americans seem to think every pub, shop, or street corner is a public restroom. In the UK, not so much. British pubs and cafes have bathrooms, but often only for paying customers. And heaven forbid you ask in a posh restaurant. You'll get a polite smile and a soft, "I'm afraid that's for guests only." And yes, Americans do get confused by the signs. Toilet versus WC. One tourist I heard asked a bartender, "Why don't you just call it a bathroom?" Classic. Cut to funny stock clip of someone confused by a restroom sign. Number 2, rental car chaos. Americans forget that in the UK they drive on the left side of the road. And sometimes, just sometimes, it ends up in a small fender bender or a honking symphony of frustration. One story, a tourist in a tiny roundabout completely panicked and ended up driving in circles for 15 minutes, while locals just sipped their tea and stared. Lesson learned, left is right and right is wrong. Next, the weather. Americans are notorious for being shocked that it rains a lot in the UK. It's supposed to be sunny in London, they exclaim. Here's the thing. London isn't a desert. It rains almost daily, and the sun pops up like a rare Pokemon. And yet, Americans keep packing shorts, flip-flops, and outrage. Umbrellas, folks. Umbrellas. Number 4. Culinary shock. Americans expect everything to taste like home. Fries should be fries, soda should be Coke, and breakfast is bacon, eggs, and a donut. But in the UK, fries are chips, cookies are biscuits, and soda is fizzy pop. Order a biscuit at a cafe, and you might get a dry, crunchy treat that wasn't what you expected. One tourist reportedly sent a WhatsApp to their mom. They don't even have real pancakes. Yep, American pancakes are a luxury abroad. Americans also love mispronouncing British words. Leicester becomes Leicester, Worcester turns into Worcester, and Edinburgh somehow becomes Edinburgh. A classic example. One tourist proudly asked a local, "Excuse me, where's the Leicester Square?" The local paused, smiled politely, and walked away. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. Americans love tipping, and in the UK, that can get awkward. While a 15 to 20% tip is common in the US, in the UK, tipping is more like 10%, or even just rounding up. One American left £50 on a £15 bill at a pub. The bartender was stunned, the locals were shocked, and the American bragged on Instagram. Pro tip, subtlety is key, not shock value. Next, pubs aren't McDonald's. Americans will walk in, expect table service, and then complain about the slow British service. In the UK, pubs often require you to order at the bar. Sit down, relax, maybe chat with strangers. But some tourists panic and start waving their arms like they're at a sporting event. Imagine, a pub, quiet chatter, and suddenly someone yelling, "Excuse me, can I get a burger now?" It's a cultural clash in real time. Americans also get way too excited about the royal family. "I need a selfie with the Queen," except the Queen isn't taking selfies in your vacation photos. From obsessing over Buckingham Palace guards to asking locals for royal gossip, Americans often miss the charm of Britain's history while chasing the crown. And yes, guards do not smile. Ever. Cut to funny stock clip of tourists taking awkward photos with guards. Finally, etiquette. Queuing is serious business in the UK. Americans cutting in line, trying to squeeze ahead. Disaster. And phrases matter. Calling a pub bathroom a bathroom instead of a toilet, saying pants when you mean trousers, or calling biscuits cookies. Small mistakes, huge reactions. It's all part of the charm and the chaos. So there you have it. The dumbest, most hilarious things Americans do on a UK vacation. From mispronunciations to rain shock, it's a roller coaster of laughs and cultural mishaps. If you've ever witnessed or done any of these, drop a comment below. Let's hear your funniest travel fail. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss part 2, because the madness isn't over yet. Quick teaser graphic. Part 2, even more shocking American tourist fails in the UK. 1. Ignoring the metric system, miles versus kilometers, Celsius versus Fahrenheit. Confusion everywhere. One tourist tried to order 2 liters of milk at a pub thinking it was a pint. Oops. 2. Shopping disasters. Americans expect 24/7 stores. In the UK, shops close early. One tourist freaked out because the supermarket was locked at 7 p.m. 3. Taking selfies everywhere. Statues, tombs, historic sites. Americans snapping photos like it's a theme park. Locals just sigh and move on. 4. Stereotyping Brits. Assuming everyone drinks tea and hates Americans. Reality, we're more than cliches, and Brits notice. Americans have a hard time with the metric system. Distances, temperatures, weights, everything feels wrong. Example, one tourist complained, "Why is the speed limit only 50? That's like nothing," when passing a 50 miles per hour sign. And don't even get started on Celsius. Wait, you want me to wear a coat in 15 degrees? Yes, that's cold, buddy. Cut to a graphic showing Fahrenheit versus Celsius confusion. Stores close early and supermarkets aren't 24/7. Americans expecting midnight grocery runs are in for a rude awakening. One tourist reportedly camped outside Tesco at 7:01 p.m. yelling, "Why is it closed?" while locals just shook their heads. Lesson learned. Plan ahead, Americans.
Americans love selfies.
But in the UK, they go next level. Statues, historic buildings, tombstones, nothing is sacred. Example, tourists climbing onto statues at Trafalgar Square for the perfect Instagram shot. Locals, polite stares and sighs. Tourists, thousands of likes later, no regrets. Visual idea, montage of tourists taking exaggerated selfies. Another classic, Americans pack like they're moving in for a year. 2 checked bags, 3 carry-ons, and still complaining there's nothing to wear. Bonus, struggling with tiny UK hotel rooms, tiny elevators, and tiny taxis. It's like a circus act, but with luggage. One tourist shouted, "What do you mean I have to pay again for a pint?" to the bartender. Locals laughed. Tourists fumed. British pub etiquette, order, enjoy, relax. American expectation, chaos. Language continues to confuse. Americans say pants and mean underwear. Brits say pants and mean trousers. Americans order biscuits, Brits bring cookies. Americans say fanny pack, Brits, well, we won't go there. Even asking for directions can go hilariously wrong. One tourist asked for the subway and was pointed to the underground train instead of a sandwich shop. Back to the royals. Americans go overboard, from chasing Buckingham Palace guards to scheduling trips around the Queen's schedule. One tourist even tried to wave at a guard and asked, "Can I hug him?" Spoiler, no, you cannot. Queuing in the UK is sacred. Americans sometimes treat it like an optional suggestion. Cutting lines at the airport, at museums, or at the bus stop sparks polite British outrage. One tourist was quietly shamed by 10 people in a row. It was brutal. Visual, slow-motion dramatization of a line-cutting fail. Driving Part 2, roundabouts confuse Americans endlessly. Stop signs, yield signs, everything seems optional. One tourist drove clockwise around a roundabout for 5 minutes, narrowly avoiding a bus. Fun fact, locals consider it hilarious and terrifying. Finally, Americans love stereotypes. Everyone drinks tea, everyone hates Americans, everyone lives in castles. Reality check. Brits notice. Locals often silently judge and sometimes subtly troll tourists for their assumptions. It's all part of the comedy, but it's a reminder. Travel is fun, but a little cultural respect goes a long way. And there you have it, the ultimate guide to American tourist fails in the UK. From weather shock to royal obsession, it's a cultural roller coaster of laughs. If you laughed or cringed, smash that like button, comment your favorite fail, and subscribe for more travel chaos. Who knows, maybe part 3 is coming with even crazier stories.